We have vibrational inner families, so to speak. I heard one time a man named Charlie come up here and he asked you, who's in charge? And he asked, am I part of your inner family? And you actually said yes. And I guess was the depth of that, meaning that I think we're all part of the whole. The whole has the many parts. But is there an inner family itself that we go through with different life themes, different dimensions? And I like how Seth talks about parallel universes. And I actually was going to ask at the same time is, would you be able to answer a question like how many lives, parallel lives, am I living? And are they like even in this room right now or in this ship right now, other people that we co-create with in a vibrational family? Could you explain a little bit about that?
It's an easy thing for us to explain and a more difficult thing for you to hear, because your vantage point has to move around as you are approaching the answer to such a question. And what we mean by that is, and you said the words accurately, that we really are all one, and that is totally unsatisfying to humans who find themselves in individual clumps, because you can feel even in your individuality, in your human form, that you have different intentions in any point in time. And yet we want to say to you that from broader non-physical perspective, the variety of intentions that you hold is all adding to the whole. So no one who is living, whether it is the human or the beasts, no one is living apart from that which is source energy. And so in that very real sense, we are all one. But you have come forth to approach yourselves individually, because you have this ability to add to the whole as you individually satisfy your selfish reasons in a much more dramatic way than if there were only one mind making all of the decisions. We like to use the analogy, and we know you've heard it before, but it applies here so well, that the one-celled amoeba is having its exposure to its experience, and it is concluding what it prefers, even in from your format, what you would call a very limited experience. And so when the one-celled amoeba, or the cells in your body, or you, the human genius of this cellular mass, as you have an experience which causes you to conclude a preference, Source is so infinitely aware that no one could have the ability to choose more wisely what is best for you than you right there where you stand. And so that's the reason that Source so willingly and so completely becomes absolutely one, a vibrational match to the preference that is born within you, usually long before you become a vibrational match to the preference that has been born about out of what you've been living. So when you get that picture in your mind, that Source is applauding all of these eyes and ears and experiencers that are out there making their selfish conclusions about what's best for them, because Source understands that what is best for the collective whole is what is best for the individual being, you see. And so Source, in its infinite ability to be omnipresent, in other words, is flooding toward everything that everyone is wanting, and that's why the whole is becoming more and more and more and more and more. It is also why well-being abounds. And of course, any participant in that who either consciously is defying that alignment or by default is defying that alignment does not upset the balance of the whole, because the well-being is the dominant force. In other words, you can pinch yourself off from it and you cannot thrive for a while, but the whole will always continue to get better. It is a given. What is on the leading edge is always more expansive and more in alignment and better than what came before. Your world is not deteriorating, it is improving. Things are not getting worse, they're getting better. And even if more and more people are holding themselves more and more apart from it, those on the leading edge who are understanding that the contrast is causing stronger desire, and that Source is fully supporting of that stronger desire, when you get in sync with it, you thrive more. And you're seeing that all around your world now. It is as if a magnifying glass has been laid over everything that is, and everything that you are living as individuals and collectively is being amplified, so that the sick are sicker, the well are weller, the clear are clearer, the confused are more confused, the poor are poorer, the rich are richer. In other words, the crevasse that is being separated, that governments keep trying to smooth out, you can take all of the resources, Put them in one pile and divide them evenly, and in 10 years, they'd be right back where they are. Because the piles are not divvied out according to fairness in terms of someone else's criteria. It is law of attraction answering the individual vibrations of the beings, you see. So, getting back to the specifics of what you're asking. So from the non-physical vantage point, everything that everyone is asking for is part of this magnificent whole. But even in the non-physical vantage point, we flow forth with a variety of intentions. You flow forth into this time-space reality with a variety of intentions, not with one intention being higher on the karmic wheel and another one being lower, but all understanding that the variety that is created makes for the improvement of the whole. And so there are those who come forth with dominant intentions to give birth and populate. There are those who come forth with dominant intentions to teach. There are those who come forth with dominant intentions to just beat the drum of allowing and to get into vibrational alignment with inspiration, where they can inspire feelings of well-being through their music, through their arts, through their work. In other words, there are all kinds of intentions, and the intentions of non-physical can easily be traced, if you want to replicate the intentions that you see among the population that surrounds you. In other words, the variety is enormous in what you are wanting specifically out of life experience. For the most part, as you come forth, if you were to get in sync with who you are, you would feel Source calling you toward the path that has the greatest probability of satisfying the desire that is pulsing within you. That's what happens when people say, oh, it is a child prodigy. That's what happens when people say, right from the beginning, I knew. What that means is that person was in an environment where they were not disconnected from their resources of source, and source, knowing what they intended when they came forth and knowing what life produced for them, was offering a very loud call toward it, and they were in an environment where they were flexible enough to follow the call, and at an early age they got in alignment with what they were really wanting. But there are so many of you who didn't want to get right into alignment the first moment that you came forth onto the planet. You wanted to mix it up. You wanted some variety. You wanted your desires to be born out of the mix of what is happening around you. And that is the way that it happens. So the non-physical energy does not have the variety that humans might suspect at first, when you understand that we are all joyous and that we expect wonderful things and that we know that life is good and that we love the amazing way in which life can show its goodness to you and therefore to us. There is not the pathos in non-physical that physicals seem to benefit from, and yet we applaud the pathos of your experience because it inspires the greater desires. Sometimes people will say to Esther, nice of you to give up so much of your life to allow Abraham to dominate your being, to express and present all of this wonderful stuff. And we agree, it is nice that Esther does that. But then we always say, Esther is in step 3. Esther is the one who is in the place of allowing. And those of you who come with your questions, who are living your life experiences, are doing the step 1 part of the equation. So the audience is doing step 1, and Abraham is doing step 2, and Esther is allowing step 3. And in all of it, we say, what part is more important? Is the non-physical more important? We don't think so. Is Esther's part more important? We don't think so. Is the questioner's part more important? We don't think so. We don't think any of it could be without all of the rest of it, you see. And so we are all in this together with the variety of our vantage points, and what a magnificent mix it is, you see. And so when you find your life causing you to conclude something that you're nowhere near vibrationally, and you know what we just said to you, you gotta just be happy that life has caused you to want this, even though you might be feeling some pain about not having it. And knowing that your part is part of the mix, doesn't it sort of soften the pain a little bit? Doesn't it make you revel in the experience that caused you to want? Doesn't it make you want to feel pride about the rocket that you launched, no matter what discomfort caused the rocket rocket to be launched? And don't you want to get your eyes on that rocket of desire as quickly as you can? Don't you want to start talking about where you want to be and why you want to be there and how much fun it will be being there? Don't you want to leave behind as quickly as you can? That's what bridging beliefs is. Don't you want to just be flexible? Because it's all about focusing. Wherever you are giving your attention, you are activating a vibration, and everything that happens as a result of that activation. We hold these gatherings wishing for you to get to the place where you're not just offering your deliberate attention to your thought because you're wanting to affect manifestations, but you're offering your deliberate attention to thoughts because you want to affect how I feel in this moment, 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 because this moment is life. It's all the life you're ever going to have. This moment, this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. And so many squander this moment in hope for that moment. And under those conditions, that moment can never come. This moment, how can I make the most of this moment? And we say the way you make the most of this moment is by trying to don the perspective of source in this moment. How is my inner being approaching this, you say? So compare yourself with others. It helps you to want. But get off of it as quickly as you have identified a desire, and then concentrate on how you feel. And before you know it, you'll be one of those blissful people. People will look at you and say, you just seem like you're doing well. And you say, I always do. And they'll say, do you have everything that you want? And you say, oh, hopefully not. What do you mean? Oh, I hope there will be an eternal stream of things not yet manifested for me to use as my guideposts to flow pure positive energy toward. I'm discovering that life is about the conscious feeling of the flowing into alignment. So actually a joy, misalignment, alignment, misalignment, alignment, misalignment, alignment, misalignment, alignment. And the reason I look so content to you, you might say, is because I never get those two vantage points, never get very far apart for me.
Cool.
Good.
Cool. So we're always knowing what we're doing. Even when we don't know what we're doing, we know what we're doing, basically.
The broader part of you knows what you're doing and will call you with feeling toward it.
Okay.
And so when you say, all right, Abraham, I get from this, the belief I want to adopt is I'm good no matter what, and I'm in the best place that I can be right now, and that I have flexibility about where I'm going. The beliefs that I want to adopt is that the universe is one of well-being. The beliefs that I want to adopt is that I am an eternal being, eternally thrilling myself with the next idea that I can conjure. I want to believe that everybody is in the perfect place and that everybody has the ability to achieve whatever it is that they're wanting. I want to believe that law of attraction abounds, and I want to believe that my guidance gives me evidence about how I'm doing in every moment. I want to believe that source energy is offering a signal and calling me constantly, and I want to believe that I can hear that signal. And I want to believe that no matter what I'm feeling emotionally, that it's all right for me to feel it. And I want to believe that my guidance is always leading me in the right direction. And I want to believe that no matter what, well-being abounds. Those are beliefs that we would work on.
Yes. All right. Great. Thank you very much, Abraham. Pleasure to be here.